Alright, morning guys. It's Thursday, October 9th. So we're into winter hours on the club lakes now. And as you can see, I've set up on club lake number 2. I've got a short day session today. Got to finish at about 3 o'clock sort of time. So I've been wanting to get back on here and give this one a proper go for a while. So I am here. Got 2 rods set up. I did a bit of prep work yesterday, so I've got little PVA sticks or PVA bags with boilies in. Had the rigs all ready to go, so that basically when I got here at 8 o'clock this morning I could pretty much cast straight out. So that's what I've done. It's just gone 8:15, so 15 minutes in, 2 rods already on the bank. Left hand rod I've put out off the tip of the island there, about a rod length or so off. I've seen a couple of carp topping over there, so it was like I've got to put one over there because fairly decent sized carp has come out twice, bang on the spot and slightly round the corner. And then the right hand rod I have put out in line with that tall dead tree in the distance, about halfway across again, well not halfway but in line with the tip of the island, so round about here. Again, I saw a fish top over on the far bank, so they're spread around a little bit, so I'm going to give myself a couple of different options and see how it goes for the day. I haven't really fished this lake very much, so a couple of sessions on here. I'm going to give it a proper go from now on, I think. See if we can get some of the bigger residents from here out. These pair of gits. That right hand swan is basically bang on where my rod is. And they are desperate to get to the boilies on the bottom. I'm hoping they can't reach, because otherwise he's going to be picking up my rig. One good thing about the water level still being quite low, well, it's down by at least 3 feet I would say, but you can obviously see what the island is like underneath the water. And I know a lot of people cast or drive boats or whatever out tight to the island, and that is basically what they're fishing on. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was an absolute ton of rigs and what have you that have been caught up in that, but that ordinarily is all under the water, so certainly something to bear in mind when I'm fishing here in future and the water levels back up, is around that part of the island don't go tight, because otherwise you are literally fishing on God knows how many tree roots. The rest of the island seems to be fairly clear, but then you look at the angle of the slope on it, any bait you put there is likely to be rolling down the hill anyway, so certainly helpful to see those sorts of things. When this water level has come down like this, you can really get an idea of what the underneath of it looks like. Alright, it's just coming up to 10:15. Not very much going on at the moment, but I've been wandering just backwards and forwards along the bank here. I spotted something on the floor and have been wandering around pulling out these, which are little fossils called belemnites, which was an ancient squid type thing. You can see that's obviously the tops of them, and little hollow bits. So if you see these on the bank at any point, or if you're you find them at the Jurassic Coast and things like that, but yeah, I wasn't really expecting them to find them where I am, but there you are. Obviously all of this land at some point was covered by sea. We're in the Fenland sort of area around Cambridgeshire, so this would have all been underwater millions of years ago, and this is the result. You can see actually a cross section of one of them there. That one's been some stage split in half, but quite a lot of them have got a little hole in the top, and then they're solid at the bottom. Another one of the bullet type tops of it. I say it's basically just a common day squid. Anyway, that's keeping me entertained, just wandering backwards and forwards, finding little bits on the edge. Nice little, tiny little bullet one there. Oh, where's he gone? Quite a sharp little point on it as well. But yeah, different. Anyway, back to the fishing. Right, it's just coming up to 11:30. Just had a fish crashing out on that, over on that spot again on my left hand rod. Haven't had any interest on either rod as yet, but at least I know something is still in the area. Jumped out a couple of times, looked fairly decent size again, so at least I know there's something within 15-20 yards or so of my baited area, so hopefully we might get some interest yet. Alright, just coming up to 11:45. I've just had the first little bit of interest on that left hand rod. Lifted up a couple of beeps and then dropped back to the position it's in now, which was the position it was in. So I assume it's just a fish going through the line, but again, there's no bird life over there, so it does indicate at least there is some sort of fish in this area. Unfortunately, that's as positive as things are at the moment, but we got a couple more hours, so I'm going to pack up about 2:30, 3 o'clock time, so 3 more hours to see if we can't sneak one out. Right hand rod has just lifted up, dropped down a little bit and is now lifted up tight. I think I'm going to hit that because I think we might have something of interest. Taken a while, and it was a very slow bite, but we've got some sort of interest. It's coming pretty easily at the moment, but it is also kiting over to my left. I'm going to say it is a carp because it hasn't come directly in and is now sitting there, so we have some interest at last. It's probably the slowest bite I've ever had, but it's a bite. And it looks like a little more smallish mirror. Fight my way up the bank. had. But he's in the net and it doesn't look too bad a fish. I would say he's definitely double figures, so we'll get him weighed up and see what we've got. Right, as we said, it was probably the easiest fight I've ever had in my life, but he has gone 18 pounds 12 ounces, so not a bad way to start at all. If he's going to let me hold him, come here. There we are. 18 pound 12 ounce mirror. I think he is going to start putting up some fight in here, so I will very quickly get a picture of him and get him back. But yeah, I can feel he's going to flip. So yeah, nice way to start. It's taken a few hours, but we've got one. Anyway, we'll get some pictures, get him back and get that rod back out. Right, as you can see, that right hand rod is back out on the spot again over towards the tree. That fish came just after 12 o'clock, 12:05 sort of time. So not too long after I'd had a little bit of interest on the left hand rod. I'd also had a couple of beeps on the right hand rod just prior to that, so there was definitely something playing around, and the result was that 18 pound 12 ounce mirror. So I say it didn't put up any real fight. It came in pretty easily. Did more of a fighting in the sling afterwards, but he's gone back safe and sound, and we have our first fish of the trip. Not a bad way to start with an 18 pounder. They do go fairly sizable in here by all accounts, up to certainly into the 30 pound bracket, much like Lake 1. So those are the goals from now on, but I think that is my biggest one out of here from the few sessions I've been on here, so it was certainly worthwhile, and worth the wet knees, kneeling down. It's always the bit I forget is pour water in, where's it going to go? Downhill, right where I'm kneeling, so never mind. Little beep on the right hand rod again. So yeah, we've got another 2 hours at least left, so hopefully we can snag another one. Right, just coming up to 1 o'clock. I've just recast my left hand rod. Thought I'd freshen up the bait a little bit, and when I went to reel in, it was actually snagged up in some weed over there, so I don't think it's been fishing particularly effectively. Obviously I may have caught it when I started to reel in, but I've got that back safely enough, and what I've done is just reposition it to where that dead tree is, about a rod length or so off the bank there, so should be in plenty of water, and I've just stuck a few boilies around it. We'll try a different position for the last hour and a half. Right, that's us done for another day. Everything's packed away. Just got the last couple of bits to get to the car. But yeah, end of a short session, but a fairly successful one. That 18 pound 12 ounce mirror out, and I've learnt a few bits about the lake that I didn't know before, and that's the main thing on these first few sessions. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again.